Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming. Not exactly full room. That's okay. Nice and intimate. Okay. This presentation, Hacking the High Seas or cruise ship ped testing, is something I've been doing kind of for a while, unofficially. So I'm sharing some of my findings today. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm Chad Dewey, computer science and information systems professor at Saginaw Valley State University in Michigan. I have some degrees and stuff. I do pen testing from time to time outside of teaching. And I'm curious about weird stuff like cruise ships, cars, medical equipment, stuff like that. Okay, just another guy sharing information. There we go. Okay, so this is not what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm trying to help prevent stuff like this from happening. I would hope that nobody takes any information that I share today and does anything malicious. We're all ethical here, right? Okay. All right, so the cover my ass part, okay? No unauthorized access to the cruise ships or the cruise ship systems was attempted or obtained, okay? So in other words, I didn't touch anything, okay? Nice and legit, okay? In-person observations were mostly done on the ship, and most information was found via publicly available information and sources. Some of these sources I'll be showing here in a little bit. You're probably familiar with all of them. Okay. Okay, so I've done a lot of cruising over the years. I've gone on 3 cruise lines with several different cruise ships on each line. I plan on going on more. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Okay. Anyway, so each cruise line has their own pros and cons regarding various forms of security. Okay, so before the cruise, here's what we're going to be talking about. Before the cruise, hooking yourself up. When you sign up for an account on some of these cruise lines, you put your personal information and all that. There's ways to get a few little goodies there. During the cruise, while you're on the cruise, there's some drawbacks to that because you're limited on what you can physically take on the ship. Especially if you take a plane, okay? The TSA loves us. And you may end up with no internet access, so you have no Google, okay? You're out in the middle of the ocean. So hopefully you don't forget anything. All right, so before the cruise, okay? I blacked out some of the things. You might be able to figure out who these are if you've gone on a cruise before. How many people ever have gone on a cruise before? So that's why you're here. You love cruising. Okay. You're curious. Good. Okay, so in this particular instance, if you cruise with this line, you can update, for example, your cruise history. Okay, in case you missed anything, as we all do from time to time. You can add past cruises that we may or may not have really gone on. In this case, there are no humans verifying your information is correct or truthful. Okay. Cruise status, just to explain this one a little bit, most cruise lines, as the people who have gone on cruises before know that there's different tiers. The more times you cruise, the higher the tier you are, and sometimes you get more benefits and rewards from that. Okay, it's just like going to the grocery store. It's a frequent cruising kind of thing. So the more you cruise, the more benefits. It's a loyalty program essentially. Okay, some of these freebies could be free drinks, so many minutes of free Wi-Fi, drinks with the captain, and on some cruise lines, though I haven't been on one of these yet, you get to tour the bridge in the engine room. I'd like to do that one of these days. All right. So, if you take a look at this, okay, I was basically able to add however many cruises I wanted. I found that there's one little trick to this. Okay, you have to have gone on a cruise at least once with them. But after that, you can conveniently remember other cruises you've gone on before. I apologize because I gotta come up to here. You won't be able to hear it on the microphone. Anyway, so this shows 7 cruises. Okay, I have not been on 7 cruises with this cruise line. Okay, I've only been on 4. Okay. You'll notice that I went on the Emerald Prince. Oopsie. I went on this Emerald ship recently. And then, of course, I went on this Crown ship. And if you look down here, okay, I really went on this one, but then I decided to push a little bit and say, okay, well, maybe I can add another. So I did. Then I went a little bit further. I never cruised on this cruise line in 2009. I didn't even get to go on a cruise in 2009 for me. Okay. Down here, you'll see this was one of my first cruises down here in 2005 with that particular ship. And then if you look below that, you'll see that there's this Crown ship that I supposedly went on, okay, that I took credit for in 2005. There's only one problem with that. That particular ship didn't take its maiden voyage until June of 2006. Okay, so there's no information sanitization going on at all there. Okay. I have notified this cruise line about this. I notified them quite a while ago. They seem to be okay with it. So am I. Okay. All right. So what do you get for this frequent cruising benefit? In this case, well, this is a little bit different. We'll get into this in a sec. Sometimes you get Wi-Fi, drinks with the captain, free drinks, so on and so forth. Also, when you sign up for these cruises, they allow you to celebrate, okay, whether it be a birthday or a anniversary or a graduation, so on and so forth. Well, in this case, it was...
Just a moment, we have several people that
Sure.
getting in here before we started.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, come on in.
We're doubling the size of your audience.
Oh, okay.
And hit play again.
And play. All right. Okay. Sorry you missed the forefront of it, but the most interesting stuff is towards the end anyway, so you're good. All right. So in this case, again, it's my anniversary again. Okay. Again, you get these freebies for specific types of things like anniversaries and birthdays and so on and so forth. Anniversaries tend to be the most lucrative. Okay. This is what I got for it being my anniversary again. $25 wine gift card, a spa gift card, and a cruise photo. And a bottle of wine. Yeah. Okay. So during the cruise, remember you're on the cruise ship. Okay. They have Wi-Fi on all these ships. Some are more secure than others. For example, when I went in 2005, the standard that just came out was WPA, and now, they were using WEP at the time. Sorry. So they have multiple networks spending on the ship, one for crew, one for guests. There's several other issues. Wi-Fi on these ships are extremely expensive. The last cruise I went on, for full internet access, it was $25 a day. Okay, it's a little pricey. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's me on the last ship, poking and looking around. Okay, so a comparison of the Wi-Fi networks on each of these ships. Okay, regarding Wi-Fi, the last cruise I went on appeared to be the most secure given a limited time frame. I mean, we're on vacation, right? We're not going to just sit here and screw around. We're going to actually enjoy the sun. The purpose of this is, to take a vacation. Okay. On previous cruises with other cruise lines, Wi-Fi can actually be obtained free depending on your cruise status. For example, Platinum on one of these cruise lines gets you 150 free minutes of Wi-Fi. What's that worth? Well, slow internet access. I mean, it's satellite internet, so but it's free Wi-Fi. Anyway, so over time, as expected, encryption has gotten better with the Wi-Fi, as you would expect. But anyway, okay. So physical security, walking around the ship. There's safes in each of these rooms. Some are numeric keypads, some are magnetic stripe. I found one on this last cruise. It was magnetic stripe, and they suggested you use either your credit card or your driver's license magnetic strip to lock and unlock it as a unique key. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Right. Yeah, just let me swipe my card. So I actually found out that it doesn't matter what you use. Anything with a magnetic strip. I used a Longhorn gift card. I used my school ID, and that sort of stuff, and it didn't matter. So why they want you to use that, I have no idea. Anyway, staff doors were almost never locked. Some had no locks whatsoever. Doors to the ship internals were almost never locked. So in other words, getting into places where that wasn't intended for passengers. Many had no locks. Staff laundry, I found some down towards the bottom of the ship. That's where the crew usually stays. But the floor above, there was a laundry cart. They had laundry, name tags, and you can probably guess what you could do with laundry and name tags, okay? It's a social engineering thing. You could, oh, look, I belong here. I got my name tag, okay? Let's see. Found a total of 6 passenger badges lying around. Your badge is associated with a credit card, okay? So if you leave, would you leave your credit card around? Probably not, but they just look at them as badges. They don't look at them as an actual credit card, okay? So, that's not the ship's fault, okay? They actually do have some things, some fraud prevention techniques in place. Unfortunately, the employees normally don't use them. For example, they swipe the card, a picture of the passenger shows up, so they can actually verify this is who this person is, and then they can buy their drinks. Okay, but again, the problem is they swipe the card and they punch in numbers. They don't even get a chance to see the picture. They're just in a trying to hurry up and get the drinks out. So it's not well implemented. Cruise passenger room privacy issue. Only one cruise that I've been on, actually kind of took some steps to help passenger privacy. Outside of the passenger doors or outside of your cabin doors, on most cruise ships, have your full name, anybody else staying in that room, along with your cruise status. Okay, like if you're platinum, gold, and stuff like that. Okay, it's a little bit of a privacy issue. You can always pull it off, I guess, but anyway. All right, so here's one of these secure areas. Okay, if you take a closer look. Crew only, do not enter. That's highly secure. You can't just walk through that, right? So, that kind of becomes an issue. Okay. On most cruise ships, there really isn't a whole lot separating the passengers from the crew, with the exception of the ship's control room and engine room. Okay. All right. Okay, so what do these ships look like? Here's a picture of the engine control room. Again, I've never been inside of an engine control room. I found this picture on the internet. Okay, what's that?
Allegedly.
No, I honestly haven't. I can honestly say I haven't been inside one of these engine control rooms yet. Hopefully, I can get invited into one to see what they're like. As you can see here, they're heavily computerized. Okay, you can see all those monitors on the walls. It's pretty crazy. So this is the engine room. Okay, this is the bridge. Okay, again, I've never been in the bridge before. Depending on which cruise line you go with, they still do give tours of the bridge depending on your cruise status. Okay, very, very computerized. Okay, if you look here, this is a navigation unit. Okay, if you take a closer look, you can see that it's a Sperry Marine Vision Master FT. Doing a little bit of searching on this, you can find quite a bit of information. Okay, including like an owner's manual. Okay, I know nothing about a Sperry Marine Vision Master FT, but I can read a manual. And what I found in the manual was, and by the way, the Sperry Marine Vision Master, the Sperry Marine navigation systems are very widely used not only in cruise ships, but also luxury yachts, government vessels, Navy, stuff like that, and so they're widely used. One of the problems with that, here's a page out of the manual, and there's one of the issues. They're still all running Windows XP, okay, which lost support in 2014. So if there's any vulnerabilities now, and they are network connected, okay, I actually asked, no, I don't know, I asked, and somebody told me that they were, that they are network connected. All right, so after the cruise, I decided to do a little bit of looking around. Okay, once again, CYA. So they all use public IP addresses. They have to communicate with shore somehow. They have internet access, so they're searchable. Okay, they all belong to, or most of them, I should say, belong to the Maritime Telecommunications Network. Okay, which has a very narrow range of IP addresses. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. And I found quite a few issues. Okay, So, looking from the outside, this is what the Maritime Telecommunications Network looks like. I'm sorry, that's kind of hard to read, but the CEDAR address is 208.114.96.0/19. That's the Maritime Telecommunications Network, what most ships are connected to if they have connectivity at sea. Okay, a little bit about the Maritime Telecommunications Network. It's a satellite communications network. You know, obviously you can't run Cat5 across the ocean. But anyway, several cruise lines use them, luxury yachts, oil rigs, government military vessels, and other commercial vessels like freighters. So when you do some searches within this Maritime Telecommunications Network, they were nice enough to display exactly what ships they all belong to. Okay, so each specific ship has its own, and this is just a small list, by the way. You start looking and you can, yeah. Yeah, so there's quite a few. All right, again, publicly available information. A simple who is shows which IP address range are given to each ship. So meaning specific cruise lines and specific ships. Okay, I also found a lot of other funny stuff. I thought this was kind of neat. Again, luxury yachts, so my trust fund. Those are the jokes, that's it. That's all you get. All right, this one, if you can't read it, it says Maritime Telecommunications Government Services. You probably don't really want to touch that one. And totally nuts. I don't know why they name those ships. Anyway. Okay, so if you're curious of where some of these ships are, you can actually search for that as well. Okay, there's a couple of websites. One of them is marinetraffic.com. You can hover over each ship and see which ship it is. Freedom of the Seas, so on and so forth. All these different colors mean different things: freighters, personal vessels, cruise ships, etc. Here's a little bit of encryption statistics based off of what I found using Shodan. And there might be some issues here. They're using older versions of SSL, TLS, so on and so forth. All right. So here's some public services also running on some of these ships. They're forward-facing. People can connect to them. Okay. PC Anywhere. Anybody use that? No? Okay. Windows Remote Management and Telnet on port 2323. Boy, they're crafty. All right. So anyway, so these are some of the services that are actually running. All right, some notable issues. Some of these operating systems and some of these services running on these ships are extremely outdated. Again, these are internet-facing services. So there's Debian Etch on a couple of ships running an older version of OpenSSH. Voice over IP systems on a ship. Actually, several ships run with remote access to the default, to the voice over IP system using default username and password. Several ships running services using an older Linux kernel. Microsoft Exchange Server 2003, which hasn't been supported in a little while. Some misconfigured firewalls. Again, more notable issues. These are only the most shocking I found. There's a lot more. If you search for it yourself, you'll see quite a few, and much more. I've done my due diligence to try and get a hold of these cruise ships, freighters, and so on and so forth, and explain them what's going on and try to help. I've only I sent out 14 different companies, and I've received so far a total of 3 responses. So that's kind of frustrating. Anyway, so all of these vulnerabilities, I don't know, maybe they're enough to create a boat net. That's it. That's all I got. It's me. That's my attempt at being funny. Okay. So again, some cruise ships don't bother to fix like say for example, the cruise status issue. One thing I forgot to mention is that again, sometimes they post that information outside of your door, your cruise status, your name, stuff like that. On one particular cruise line, in order to claim your free Wi-Fi minutes as a platinum member, all you need to know is your room number, your cabin number, and your name. So I just I need some free Wi-Fi. Walk down the row of doors, look for platinum or elite status, and there you go. There's some Wi-Fi. Okay. So some of the minor perks, they're okay with that. So am I. The cruise lines are all improving the security for the passengers gradually. They really need to work on those internet-facing issues. As expected, some cruise lines take security and privacy a bit more serious than others. Again, only one cruise line that I've been with does not post passenger information outside of the door. Okay, so good for them. Obviously, freighters, oil rigs, and other entities like that may not have to worry about passenger info, but they still have their own issues as well. I found out, okay, so I originally submitted this talk to another conference, B-Sides in Las Vegas, back on February 7th. I found that in March, there were some issues with Somali pirates who got a hold of, they were able to compromise a content management system. That content management system held the manifestos for what's on those ships, so they were able to be more efficient pirates. They found out what was on the ship, the freighter, and were able to get on the ship, know exactly where to find those containers, and get what they needed to get off. So this is kind of an issue. Anyway, so there's always room for improvement. All right, so these are some of the people who kind of helped me along with this presentation and in life. Adam Brand from Protivity for sharing resource information and additional insight. He kind of pushed me to keep going with this thing, and I'm glad he did, because I found a lot more information. Research is still ongoing. I'm finding more and more stuff. Dr. Lonnie Jacker and Scott James for their guidance with education and life. Chris Roberts for his influence and enthusiasm. If y'all know who Chris Roberts is? No? The plane guy, commercial airline guy. Okay, well, anyway. So I got a chance to talk with him a couple times. Pretty cool guy. Anyway, and then Christina Lane and my mother for their inspiration and support. All right, are there any questions? Yeah, it's kind of dark. All right, yes?
Did you find anything on any of the surveillance systems that they have, any video or anything like that?
I didn't pry that far. If it's probably not, like they probably can't monitor it from somewhere else, so it's probably firewalled off. Internally, I didn't see anything. One thing I did notice, though, I forgot to put it in the presentation on this last cruise I went on, and then two of these three cruise lines, they have Ethernet ports all over in the walls, like by like the dining area and stuff like that, and they're all active. Okay. Active, and if you want free internet access, well, yeah. Of course, you'd look kind of funny next to the dining room on your laptop with an Ethernet cord plugged in, but whatever. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.